Halloween is right around the corner, and the majority of us anime fans are probably asking ourselves the same exact question that we ask ourselves every year around this time, which is, what should I be watching for Halloween? Because we want to find something that's actually scary, but fear doesn't translate very well into animation, so we usually just settle for something that's action-oriented with monsters that's loosely defined as horror, or something that is a thriller and is also loosely defined as horror. But Yami Shiba, Japanese horror stories, is something that I found to be very refreshing. You ever watch those Japanese horror movies such as The Ring or The Grudge? I'm talking about the original ones. I guess you could also count the Western counterparts to these as well, but it basically takes that type of horror where it's almost psychological in a way that it makes you jump and it makes you think about some of the items that they have on set, kind of like The Ring did with a video cassette, or The Grudge did with, I forget what, a house, and then you also had one that had the internet as one. So it's basically that type of horror where it creeps you out about everyday ordinary objects, but there's such a variety here with all of the different stories, considering that every episode is only 4 minutes and each episode is a completely individual story which doesn't rely on anything else. Due to the nature of the show, I can't follow my normal review routine and going through the characters and the plot and everything like that, so I'll just tell you guys about a few of my favorite episodes and what I liked about them. From the very first episode, I felt Yami Shiba did a great job of putting me on the edge of my chair, jumping numerous times in every episode. It's somewhat formulaic in what they do, because they'll basically introduce you to a situation where you're uneasy with it. Of course, the music is definitely something which heavily aids to this, but you start paying attention to like a small little detail. Maybe you find it in the background, or maybe it's something that a character says, and you're thinking about it, and it slowly works its way up, and then bam, you get a jump scare. And some people may not be fans of jump scares, but I felt that this actually pulled it off right, and not every episode needs to have a jump scare, and not every episode uses a jump scare. Sometimes they'll focus more on like strange or grotesque horror, and I felt that each and every episode was something that either had me jump, or I feel it's something that would make somebody else jump. There's also this one episode, I think it was like episode 3, where you had this family that had this really strange ritual, this being of the first season, where they would go together in, you know, one of their bedrooms, and they would put on this clown face paint, and they would just stand there still doing nothing but laughing with the creepiest smile. I don't know, there's just something about clowns. I'm not afraid of them, but this thing was creepy. One episode that I really liked, this guy was sitting in his house and he was getting a call from one of his friends, and they were basically telling him about the time that they went to this haunted house recently, and she was saying about how she has this friend of hers that went into the haunted house and got like dragged in, and now he's missing and she don't know what's up with him. And then he gets a knock on the door. He's looking through the door, and it's actually the friend of his that was supposedly missing in this haunted house. And it also made you think, like, what's going on between the two of them, because they were talking about how one of them was wearing the face of the other, and it was actually some sort of monster in disguise, and it had this jump at the end. Like, it was one of my favorites. I know it's going to be one of your favorites too. So even though the majority of the episodes will make me jump, some of them I will appreciate the weirdness, or I will even laugh at some of them. Like, there was this one episode where this high school girl goes to this supposed magical locker and makes a wish to this creepy ceramic doll that's in it about her beloved senpai falling in love with him. So she takes her picture, or the picture of the senpai, sticks it in front of this creepy ass doll, and shuts the door. And little does she know that as soon as she turns around, she finds her senpai right in front of her right there, and it turns out he was trying to make a wish too. And of course, they just continue with the conversation until she discloses the fact that she made a wish to this ceramic doll that's in there. And he's like, what? Apparently he knows about it. He's like, what? Please don't tell me you made a wish to that doll. He opens it up, or she opens it up, and the doll is gone. And he gets stuffed into the locker as a giant cube of meat. Poor senpai. She's watching her sweet little beloved senpai here get turned into a cube of meat and shoved into the locker. Man, you know, in the heat of the moment when watching that episode, I thought it was funny. I laughed at it. But now that I'm standing here and telling you guys about what I laughed at, I think I've got some kind of problem. But then again, I did review some hentai already about a floating head that takes characters back into World War II, where there's like zombie rape and all sorts of stuff. So I don't think I'm really surprising anyone when I say that I laughed at that episode. And some of the episodes are just downright strange. I remember one that I liked, that this guy was going up to this vending machine, he put a quarter in, he twisted it, and he got something out, and he looked at the little toy that was inside, the gachapon or whatever, and it was something from his past that reminded him of his past, so he just stood there putting in quarters and getting like little memorabilia of his past back, and each time he did that, it would like suck the life force out of him. So there he was, an old man just twisting his life away at this thing. Now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of my Shenmue days, where I just stood there with those machines putting the coins in. For those of you who played Shenmue, trying to collect all those figures, you know the struggle, but he basically spent his life away in that, and then somebody else walks up. It wasn't really scary, it was just something that was strange, and I really appreciated the weirdness of it. Now, one thing you may notice when looking at some of the clips here is that its animation is very simplistic. Sometimes they'll take a single cell of a character, and they'll just move it back and forth or side to side or something like that, instead of actually animating the face or the mouth when some of the characters talk. It is very simplistic, but the art style I really enjoyed. This watercolored appearance that it has, I don't think this was handmade, but if it was, I would not be surprised by that, because it looks like somebody hand painted cells with watercolor here, and I think it looks beautiful. Now, as far as the music goes, the music was eerie. Come on, guys, if it's a horror that works, you know the music element is alive and well here. It's something that's very eerie here, and also I found myself enjoying the closing songs for the first 2 seasons here, because it was, I don't know exactly how to call this, because it's kind of like the, I don't even know what to call it, to be honest with you. It's like the computer-generated auto-tune female singing that's pretty popular in Japan, mixed with a sort of dubstep that was also mixed with some of the eerie music that you could find in the show. I don't know, it's a weird combination, but I felt it was pretty catchy. So overall, I highly recommend watching Yami Shiba. Even if you don't think you're going to like it based on the clips that I showed you in this video, still check it out, because it's only 4 minutes an episode. It is worth a try just for a few episodes. I felt that it was mostly consistent in quality throughout the entire 3 seasons. The animation and art does look a little bit better in the latest season of it, but still it looks good all throughout the entire series of this. And also, the writing is always creative, and it's something that I really enjoyed and I wanted to recommend you guys. So if you've seen Yami Shiba, let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.